What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901, your number one post-game show, and it's not even close. Listen, we have a win, a dub. I know we normally do not know how that feels, but the Grizzlies did 140 to 103. A compelling game there in the second quarter late. And then the Grizzlies after halftime with all of the coaching adjustments that took place to really take this team over the edge. I kid. But this team looked like a different team there in the second half. And they ran off to a huge victory, down 14 to win by, 37. Just an incredible turnaround and a fun game that we will celebrate. We're going to get into all of that and much more. We do have a little Grizz Trivia. I hope you're ready because it's going to be March Madness style. But also, we have a little bit of something special, something about the brand, about Grizz 901. You can call it a State of the Union if you would like. But it's a little bit about what's kind of happening and going on with Grizz 901. So we figured we would share that with you and kind of talk through that with y'all. But that's all we got. Nate's here. Let's get to the show. Yo, what up, man? You got the little snow globe.
Happy Nate. Happy day. Happy Nate. We needed that so bad, dude. Yeah. I was so ready to crash out so hard on the show, depending on how that went tonight. Oh, but hey, my $5 to Jazz Plus paid off.
Oh, so you got to watch some Jazz Plus tonight.
Yeah, some Jazz Plus, and let me tell you, they are sad. The Jazz team is sad over there.
They're just so bad.
They did a good job of making a lot of silver linings, but they're sad. They're sad.
Right.
They should.
Well, as always, Lauren, is the snow globe gets his guest appearance. I kind of like the snow globe better than the whiskey. But it seems like we're in better moods when we're seeing the snow globe instead of the whiskey. But
or worse.
Yeah, definitely. But all in all, the Grizzlies winning was a much-needed win, just kind of overall. I do want to bring up something eventually. I don't want to get to it right away, but Smooth Southpaw is going to, kind of talking about a little bit of Jaren being off the court, the ball free flow and moving. I think that's something we can get into, something we'll discuss, not just yet, but I do want to talk about it. But off the top, as we always do, Nate, what's your thoughts on the game?
Finally. We needed that. Like Wayno saying, we needed the morale boost. We needed that badly. Really good to see them actually get a win. I thought, honestly, there were signs of life in the Clippers game. In the first half, I thought they played with a lot of competitive energy, and then it just fell off. And from a talent standpoint, I mean, you're just down so bad right now, especially with BC out for the season. But then they came out, was very worried in the first quarter because the energy that was there in the Clippers game was non-existent. And then they were able to turn it around a little bit in the second quarter. And then the third quarter, they just blitzed them. Also didn't help that the Jazz were shooting lights out to start the game. I mean, when they got to the fourth quarter, I don't think they could make a shot. I don't know what their three-point percentage was in the second half, but it might have been 10%, and it felt like it was 60% in the first quarter and a half. So, but all the same, Grizzlies turned around. Energy is a big reason that they were able to shut the water off for the Jazz in the second half of the game. So good to see that as a kind of competitive effort, ball bouncing around that you want to see. Needed it badly as you go into a really tough stretch of games that you may or may not have Ja Morant for.
We'll get into a little bit of what's going on with Ja a little bit later, but tonight it's listen, I just want to talk all about the good victory, but I do want to hit on some things that I really enjoyed. And so the Grizzlies winning a huge win, 140 to 103. I looked at a little bit of the numbers because I'm always curious about when do games flip, especially a game flipping like that. I wasn't up to speed until midway through the fourth quarter on actually real time. And so, one, I did not respond to any of your messages in our DMs because I could not watch live. I was putting kids to bed, hanging out with my wife a little bit. We had things that we're having to do. And I was like, I can't watch this live. But I found out that you can speed through. I started watching mid second quarter, and I sped through and caught up just because you just get away from halftime. Any free throws I speed through. But what I looked at is it was a big flip. They were down 14 and ended up, and their largest lead was 40, right? That's a 54-point swing. Okay. But besides the 54-point swing overall, 53-63 in the second quarter with 3:30 to go. Okay. You're down 10. Big. They caught back up and made it a 1-point game at halftime. And then the second half, they just kind of ran off with it up to, you can go to 140, 103. That was a 47 point difference. But the biggest one that I saw was before, kind of when the starters all kind of came out, it was 134-96. And that's a 48-point difference. So between that late into the fourth quarter and to late into the second quarter, they ran off by 48, which is a huge number overall. And I think it kind of went on to I think there were adjustments. I think it was Utah not shooting 65% overall, which is big. But overall, I felt like the energy seemed like it was there. I think the two guys that I looked at the most were Scottie Pippen Jr. was a big energy guy. But also, I think it was Jay Huff was a big energy guy tonight.
Yeah, and Scotty with a crazy efficient double-double. Only missed one shot on the night. And then Jay Huff loves playing in Utah, by the way. Because when the first game of the season, I got to see him in person. I was like, Jay Huff might be the greatest player of all time. He's just unbelievable when he plays in Utah. So, good on him doing it again. Got the Statue of Liberty, like a reverse dunk, a block. It was the full Jay Huff experience. So, right. Great energy off the bench from those guys. Good energy from a lot of guys off the bench. I mean, Vince played really well tonight. It didn't turn into anything, so I'm not sure if everybody saw it, but he had Keontae George ready to fight during that game too. Like Keontae George literally tried to slap him at one point, but didn't. So that's why it didn't turn into anything. So been a few games coming. It's felt like Vince is getting more back into psycho mode, which is good. Still needing to hit threes on a more consistent clip, but tonight he's 3 for 5, which is what you need from him, right? If you get 3 for 5 from him from deep, even the 2 for 6 from Jalen Wells, like you need that kind of production from your wings and defending at a pretty high level, which they didn't for a quarter and a half. But then for the next 2.5 quarters, they defended super high level, right? Yep. Really turned it around. So really good job all around on both those guys. Edie, good production off the bench tonight. Jitty, good production off the bench tonight. Quiet night from Luke, but I thought he had good minutes as well. It's pretty good all around on the bench.
Well, I looked at the first quarter and I peeked a little bit from, seeing your, DMs coming through about how bad they sucked. And so I thought, okay, let me just go look at the score at least before I start watching. They were down by like 12 or so at that point. And I just thought, oh my God, this is going to be a horrible watch. It's going to be a hate watch. But I started looking because at that point I knew they were down. So like what went wrong? And I started looking and I didn't think that they were guarding the 3-point line that bad. Like within the NBA, you're going to have some kick out threes that are going to be open. That's understood. That's on every team, every game. But for the most part, they were guarding the threes fairly well. The problem is they were just knocking them down. And so I don't think there was that bad of defense tonight. What I saw tonight was they were allowing their guys to go man to man, and they were kind of playing a little bit more snug on the man. And so in all honesty, I felt like they were just hitting good shots. And so I don't give them, too much of a, just anger tonight and how they played. I thought they played fine defense. The Jazz hit a bunch of good shots when the Jazz didn't hit a bunch of good shots. That's why we saw a big 48-point turnaround there in the second half. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game. I thought the everything kind of figured itself out once they got a little energy going tonight overall.
Yeah, it was some of those threes were bug making in the first quarter. The rest of the game, I thought they'd turn it around. Some of the threes at the beginning of the first, I was like, that's what we've been seeing, and makes me want to just pour bleach straight to my cornea. but they turn it around eventually. So I think you're right on that. But yeah, I mean, they're clearly trying to do different stuff. I think it's probably going to be too little, too late for Taylor on some of this, regardless of how it goes. But and keep in mind, it is the Jazz who have won, I think, 16
Correct.
games in total this season. But
they've only won one in March.
Yeah, I was worried it would be two before the game started. But still, that's the team effort that you want to see, right? That's the team that we've been missing since the deadline. Since the deadline's been a disaster, like really right before the deadline. And team just didn't have the same energy that they had. They just couldn't compete against the Thunder. They couldn't compete against these top-level teams before the deadline. Since the deadline's been like, they don't want to compete against these teams. It's felt like they have no confidence. And tonight felt like a flip of that switch. So good timing. Again, they're going to need it for the stretch.
No doubt. 1 second. I'm going to go back real quick. Wayno had a comment asking about my kiddos. We had to call the last show Friday night. And I don't think I've talked to you, Nate, about everything since then. So Thursday, my youngest wakes up middle of the hallway, and I hear just a puke, right? And you hear it. I wake up, and I'm like, I'm not running. I don't run down the hall. I'm fast walking, okay, down the hall, and I see just projectile vomit coming out. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is spring break, not a big deal. Well, what happened is I'm guessing, and there might be some people that know more than I do. There is a really bad stomach bug going around, and my house caught it. So it was my my oldest daughter caught it first, and then my youngest, who, bless her heart, she is puking the first time and looks up and just smiles. And she's 6, right? She smiles and like pukes again, looks up, smiles, wipes her mouth. And I'm like, this is like crazy, like how she took it. It didn't last long. Those smiles kind of faded pretty fast. But then my wife got it, and then I got it late. I think my wife, I don't know. I got it late one night, but my wife was down bad. All 3 were sick that Friday night. And I was like, there's no way I can do anything at this point. And so that's kind of why. But either way, I got it Sunday or maybe late Saturday night, and I was horrible. But I hope if you get it, bless your heart, because it's going to suck. I promise. But either way, thank you for asking for that, Wayno. Appreciate that. But if anybody's tuning in, if you're watching on Twitter, thank you so much. Come over here and hanging out with us over here on YouTube. There's a lot more of you here on this side. I see our guy, Rip Jitty, who is my favorite follow right now on Twitter. He's over here in the chat over on Twitter. But if anybody wants to join us, please join us over here on Bluff City Media, YouTube. Be more than happy to have you. There's always a lot of people that are in the chat, just kind of hanging out, chatting it up, and always going back and forth. But we have a lot that we're going to get into. We're going to keep talking about the game, breaking down the game. We also going to have Grizz Trivia, which is March Madness style, and then a little State of the Union that I promise you probably don't want to miss. King Meeks, don't leave so quickly. But going through this game, do you think Scottie Pippen Jr. was the best player on the court tonight?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess I do. That's like kind of a weird thing to say, but like, it's been a weird thing where the past 3 weeks I've been like, when Scotty's on the floor, I'm like, just give the ball to Scotty. Just let him make the right decision, which is such a far cry from the beginning of the season. I was like, Scotty's clearly got the talent, but man, he does dumb stuff too much. And now it's like the change over the course of the season has been crazy. He had 16 and 10, 7 for 8 shooting from the floor. I mean, unbelievable night. And just every time the ball hits his hands right now, you trust that something good's going to happen.
Yeah.
Every time. I mean, he is like that true point guard right now. Plus, you trust him from deep. Like, I feel as confident when he lets it go from 3 as I do anyone else on the team right now. Dez, Luke, Santi, all of them. Right? So, I think his shot's a little bit better, more consistent than Tyus, at least right now. Right now, Tyus had some hot stretches. Maybe it's just a hot stretch from Scotty, but it's felt like it's been a long stretch of being consistent. So feel good about that. he continues to make really good decisions, which is like the only real knock on him. Right? He plays really hard defense. He's clearly got talent. He plays with a lot of energy all the time. It was just, can you quit gambling at the wrong moments? And he has.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing is his gamble defense. It helps you some. It kills you a lot of times. But the reason I wanted to bring him up because I thought he was the best player on the court. I made him before the game starts. If everybody ever sees it, like I make the thumbnails, guys that I think could have a big game in this game or previously had a big game, and I kind of reward them in a sense. Not that they care or see it, but they have their face on the thumbnail
sure
because I thought they're important. You know, why not? But I thought Scottie Pippen tonight was going to be very pivotal. I said that last time. Pivotal. Whatever. Pivotal. Yeah, whatever. I messed that up the other day on my show. Like it was bad. I said that. I said pivotable. Anyway, very important to the game tonight, and he was. But my question, the reason I brought it up, Nate, was because I'm curious. Let's talk about the playoffs a little bit. I know it's the playoffs. But the Grizzlies, from my understanding and what I see, they really need somebody who can control the offense. That is obviously John Morant. The issue is, can you still figure out a way to play Scottie the off times that Ja's not playing to keep the same consistent offense? Do you think that they would go that direction, or do you think they need to go that direction?
I don't know. This roster feels like it's getting decimated again. So I'm like, I did all season. I've wanted that. At this point, true.
So true.
I still don't get why the Jazz suck. By the way, we talked about this last time they played the Jazz.
Lauri Markkanen's not there.
It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, tonight, yeah, I understood why they sucked because he didn't play, John Collins didn't play, and Clarkson didn't play. So I get that.
They're a bunch of good pieces.
Yeah, but generally speaking, they shouldn't have only won 16 games so far this season. Come on.
Well, I think they're trying, in my opinion, and not to get off the subject, I think they're trying to lose so much that they pick and choose where they don't play enough of their good players, and they're like, we got you again. We didn't win again.
I guess. Yeah, like the players don't want to lose, though.
No.
It's just crazy to me because I'm like, when they have all their guys, they have a bunch of talent. Anyways.
Yeah.
I understand that they want to lose and they're not built to win at a consistent level. I just think like 16 games is just disgusting for a team with that kind of talent. Anyways, back to the point. You've gotten to the point with the roster where you almost like have to have Scottie and Ja on the floor at the same time. Scottie and Ja on the floor at the same time. Southern Draw came out strong there.
What, you think you have to have them?
I think you do because you need if we're talking playoffs, your best players and most productive players should be on the floor, and those two dudes are two of your most productive players. They're two of your best five right now.
See, I disagree, and I think D'Angelo Quinn's agreeing with me. Like, I don't think you need to have them on the court. Personally, I don't, not at all.
You don't think you need to have them on the court together, or you don't think you need to have Scottie on the court at all?
No, I think you should have Scott. I think in all honesty, I think it needs to be very seamless to the point of you would have Ja leave the court and Scottie comes on and you keep the same consistent flow of offense because Scottie can demand the ball just as much as Ja can at this point. I'm not saying he's as good, but I think he can demand the ball as the same level as Ja can, which allows you to keep the same type of offense. And that's why I would do that.
You don't have to have them on the floor always at the same time. Like, I'm not saying all their minutes match up. I'm sorry. Not all their minutes are going to match up. But I think you're going to have them on the floor at the same time at points for sure. Right?
I think Art's speaking Jesus language. 34 minutes for Ja and 14 for Pippen. Perfect.
Here's the exercise that I'm going through in my head.
Don't go to overtime.
Here's the exercise that I'm going through in my head. Okay, so if you don't have Scottie on the floor with Ja, you're going to have Ja, Dez, Jaren are your best.
Yeah.
At this point, probably Santi.
It depends on matchups. It's hard to do the other pieces.
No, but I'm just saying, like, let's assume who your best five would be. Santi.
Yeah.
And then what do you need? You need someone who can defend and who can shoot. If
Yes.
you
I'm
want
okay
that,
with them playing next to each other.
you want that to be Wells or Vince, right? In theory, that's who you have. But truth
Yeah.
be told, they're going to get hunted in playoffs, just like we saw what happened to Dylan. Like, they're going to be left open in the corners and say, okay, make the shot.
Yeah.
Now, if they're making the shot, then fantastic, that works. But I mean, let's be honest. Do we think either one of those dudes, do we really trust them to make those shots? No. Who do you trust to make those shots? Scotty or Luke? Now, at that point, Luke's getting hunted on defense if he's out there. So who's going to be someone who can play defense for you and knock down that shot?
I got it. The answer is Jitty.
That was coming. I knew that was coming. Honestly, he's been lighting it up lately. So I don't know. He keeps seeming to make
Yeah, what?
2 out of 3 every night. He's only getting 3 up, but he's making 2 of them. By God. So, in all seriousness, though, it's like, okay, who do you have that is not going to get hunted on either side of the ball next to those guys? Right now, it's like, okay, Vince and Wells are going to just let him shoot. They can shoot you out of a game. They're just going to let it happen, right? On the flip side, Luke's going to get hunted on defense, which maybe it's not. Maybe that doesn't turn into a problem.
I hate his game.
Maybe it doesn't turn into a problem, right? Against the Lakers, he seemed to be turning that series around until he got hurt. So there's a chance that works. But in my mind, Scotty's a guy who's going to defend. He's undersized, so you can't put him on a big wing, but he can defend, and then he can shoot. He's not going to get hunted either way. And so if that's going to be the case, I think you have to have him on the floor a lot more than those 14 minutes. I think he's probably one of your best options.
Okay, so let's just say let's move that up to 24 minutes. And I don't know if that's that's doable, right? That anything's doable. But let's say we move it up 24 minutes and they played together 10 out of his, minutes that he was on. I still think that's fine. I think the main thing that I'm saying is whenever Ja's off the court, instead of doing this stupid Bane or Luke or whatever, I really do think that Scotty has given the Grizzlies enough of a direction of offense that outweighs anything else, like for sure. And so
agreed.
That's my biggest thing. So
yeah, when Ja's off, he's got to be on. But he can also have minutes on with John. I think that's going to be necessary. And he might be, one of those players that he gets a lot more minutes and it doesn't always go very well, right? He can't play in those extended minutes, but he's done it a lot this year when he's had to start. He's played really good extended minutes.
So yes, okay. But the problem is when Scotty comes on the court with Ja, Scotty runs on ball and Ja goes off ball. That's not what I want. I still think that Scotty can be an off guard and be what Wells is. Wells just runs to the corner, floats around the top, and cycles back through because they run this dumb idiot offense, and everything is like, it looks like a spiral, is a toilet. Everything just spirals that way, unless sometimes we're playing in other courts and then it spirals back because we're playing in Australia, mate. But yeah, like that's literally what I get frustrated when Ja goes off ball. But this is the playoffs, and I think Ja would stay on ball for sure.
Yeah, Ja does not need to go off ball. But what's nice about Scotty is when they end up loading up on Ja, you have another guy who's a definitive playmaker,
correct,
on the floor to get the ball to. And listen, there's all kinds of issues that could come out of that. But my response is point to a lineup that's not going to have potential issues with this current roster, right? It's not like, oh, we're throwing out whoever, Kyle Anderson or something, and they're leaving Kyle Anderson in the corner when we have the Anthony Melton who makes corner threes or something like that, right? It's just, I think you have to put on the players who give you the best chance of winning a given play in a playoffs, because every possession matters. And I think Scottie Pippen is one of those guys right now.
Yeah.
If Vince can shoot the ball consistently, if Wells can find it again for the playoffs, that changes the conversation. But right now, Scotty's one of those guys. And listen, it's the state of the roster, right? Is where the team is at.
Yeah. And honestly, like also saying he doesn't think it matters, who's on ball. I agree and disagree. I think it does matter when you get on the back half of the shot clock, because what happens is on that back half of the shot clock, there's a lot of creation because the offense is stalled a little bit. if whoever brings the ball down, I don't care. Like once the offense gets started, people are flowing and going the toilet bowl, type flow. Like that's fine as long as the ball's popping. It's when we're about 9 or so seconds, we need to be able to have that point guard we fall to and falter to, and at that point create a little bit of a dribble drive, maybe a on ball pick and roll, a backside kick, whatever. Like there needs to be something that they can rely on, especially into the playoffs, because there's more of an uptick of defense. And so that's the only thing, that I want to see is we have a point guard that we can rely on to go to, because oftentimes when Bane's on the court, he gets the ball and he's got 12 seconds on the clock and he's out dribbling at near half court again, because we've all, went back, and he's trying to go around somebody and the ball just shoots off of his foot, because that's just what happens. So that I need to get rid of that part. And as Keith's saying, the Bane point guard experiment needs to be over. Like that can be done. So hopefully they figured it out, because I think Scotty's a good enough defender to play alongside Ja for sure. So we'll see.
I think we're pretty well on the same page. I just think those minutes for Pippen get extended more than I think you think they do, just because I think he's one of those guys who can compete no matter who's on the floor for the most part. So
yeah,
but we'll see, man. We'll see. Only other thing I think Ja has to have the ball in his hands unless he's taking a play off. Like in this, he just needs a breather. Otherwise, like Ja Morant's an on-ball player.
Yeah.
And unless you're facilitating for him, like setting an off-ball screen, and he's going to come get the ball, and then he's on ball again. At that point, I'm okay with it. Yeah. But yeah.
All right, we're on the same page then, for the most part. I agree. And it's Lizard Man. There you go.
I'm a little
you welcome. Scotty has earned it for sure. And the stats that he's putting up, what he's doing on this team, has been awesome. But I do have to ask an important question. There's been a lot of injuries, but I don't know if you know about this, but Drew brings up a really good point. Ja, does he still play for the Grizzlies? Do we know that, yes or no?
We do. He was on the bench, very active tonight.
Okay. Wasn't aware.
Can confirm.
Okay.
I know you were speed watching the game, but yes, can confirm.
That was definitely a fast forward. I did not see him at all. Not gonna lie. But let's go through the two injuries. Obviously, we have Bagley. Let's talk about Ja first. Does it worry you at this point? Because Ja, starting off with however many games he played well. The team, looked fine. And then shoulder soreness, and then eventually now he has a hamstring soreness, and now it's a hamstring strain. Usually we get some kind of a timetable. We've had, this happened with Ja before, where I think it was maybe a playoff series where he went out a couple of games and then they gave us a full update. Is it weird that they haven't given us any kind of update at all on him?
I don't know, man. Everything this franchise does is weird when it comes to injuries. I just quit. I haven't even thought about it, because they're like, we haven't got an update on Ja. I'm like, of course we haven't. They're not going to give any update until people start yelling at them about updates, and then they'll give you the most vague update in the world, right? And then he'll just play. I
want to yell about an update. I need an update.
Yeah, somebody needs to yell about it, but I'm not going to yell about it, because I've got better things to do. But they're like, he's just going to end up playing. He's going to end up playing at some point. Everybody, oh my God, Ja's back. Like, that's going to be what it is.
Do you think, as Keith's saying, do you think they've shut him down until the playoffs?
They might have. But I really was thinking he would come back for this weekend, like for the home games against the Lakers and the Celtics. I thought he would be back, just because, like, if you're cruising and your seeding is like, you don't really care if you're going to be 2 seed, you're going to be 3 seed. It is what it is, whatever. But you're not cruising to a 2 seed or a 3 seed. No. Like, you're fighting to stay out of the play-in, and you're fighting for home court advantage. So if he's hurt, like if he's genuinely hurt, that's a possibility, and that's obviously concerning. There's a chance that he is hurt, but not to the point he wouldn't be able to play. But they're like, listen, we're just going to land where we land when it comes to playoffs. We're going to have you as close to 100 as we can get you. That would be sort of what I'm thinking. But I don't know. I was really hoping they have him for this homestand coming up, specifically against the Lakers, more than in these other games, but hopefully against Celtics as well. I am leaning towards they hold him out until the end of the year.
Do you think that's a Ja decision, or do you think that's a franchise decision?
I think it's both. I think that they are still in conjunction. They work in conjunction. I don't think the team makes a decision without consulting Ja. Ja has inputs on those decisions for sure.
Okay. See,
I'd be amazed if he doesn't.
I don't I don't understand it. And somebody was saying that, needing to ramp him up, like that's the biggest thing for me. But I do know that you get, once you're done, I believe it's Sunday's the last game. You're probably not playing until Thursday, Friday. So you're off for a few days no matter what. Like you have a good little break. But that doesn't get you back into the mode. I would be down with him coming back and playing a game, taking a game or two off, playing another game, taking a game off, whatever. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, there's so many conspiracy theories that are going around. Like, I get it. He has not looked like he's been a true leader on the bench. I did not see him tonight, but the past few games, he just looks like he's there. He doesn't look like he's as vocal, and I could be wrong. I might not be able to, I might not see, it might not give him a fair shake because he's not on camera 24/7. I'm not at the game to be able to see that, but it just doesn't look like he's as like involved in the game. And if you're the leader, if you're the best player on the team, that always has to be your goal. Like that has to be your role. If you're on the team, is you have to be a guy that is kind of stepping up. And so I'm curious what it is, but they have to ramp him up. There's no way they can set him all the way now until the regular season. The regular season's done. I just don't see how it's possible.
I don't think they completely shut him down, but they may not decide like, hey, you're playing again now, and then we're going to play and maybe shut you down for the last 2 games. Like they might really be holding him out to try and get his hamstring and his shoulder right. By the way, I'll give you a pass because I know you were speed watching the game tonight, but he was like all over the place tonight.
Oh, was he? I had no idea.
Yeah, like all over the place the entire game. So
okay.
You get a pass for speed watching the game, but he was going crazy on the bench. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Forgive me, but yes, I did not see him tonight at all. I told everybody did not see him. But the previous games, there's not been much, and maybe because they've lost and they sucked in every single one of those games, so maybe not. But at that point, you're actually the most important during those times. But King Meeks thinks he's going to play the last 4 or 5 games. I think that's has potential for sure. If he's actually going to do that, or maybe the last 3 of the last 5, 3, and then sit down the last 2 or something. Either way, the Grizzlies now are in 4th. If anybody cares, but they are in 4th. That's changing so much at the moment. OKC still obviously 1st, Houston 2nd, Denver 3rd. We jumped ahead of the Lakers again, so we're flip-flopping back and forth. At this point, we look to be on pace to play the Lakers, but the Grizzlies, if they got hot, they could easily jump above that. I want to go back to Bagley before we talk about that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I just saw that number, and I wanted to make sure we had it. But Bagley, all right. What did you make of Bagley getting hurt on 2 or 3 days off out in LA/Utah?
I mean, they saw that BC was out and there was going to be a clamoring for another big to take minutes, preferably an athletic, mobile, switchable, above the rim big. And then out of nowhere, a brick just hit him in the back of the head while he was walking through the hotel. And nobody saw anything but they heard his little Zach climbing going in the background. I don't know why. I just imagine Zach climbing making that.
That's Zach Kleiman's voice.
They're just like, no, we can't give him a reason to play him. We got to get the fan shut down. We want him to get off our back. I don't know, man. He probably got, like, they were probably going up for a rebound in practice, and Edie just clobbered him in the back of the head. And he's like, oh, sorry. Sorry, man. How's the weather down there?
I do have a conspiracy theory. I believe it could have been Jay Huff. Because Jay Huff is like, hey, listen, it's either me or you, dog. And he's like, all right, we're going for this rebound, sharp white boy elbows. I got you. And got him.
Like, did the Luke Kennard, like I can feel someone coming for my minutes,
right.
Took him out of the equation and then went off in Utah. Yep. Well played, Jay Huff.
And Jay Huff's like, listen, boys, I'm white. I know TJ will side with me. He likes them white boys. I thought it was funny, but no, I really did think.
Seriously, I have no idea what could possibly happen.
It was definitely practice because you got to think they were off for 2 to 3 days. They probably had a play. If it was me as a coach, I would have had a players practice. You do what you want. You get your time in. Bane, you're the leader. You run it, whatever. And I would have a coach-led practice the day before you leave to go to Utah, and then you have a shoot around. It's not that hard. But yes, that's what I would have done. And who knows what happened, but it had to have been during practice.
Well, again, they're never going to tell us. They're never going to tell us what happened. We're never going to know what happened to Marvin Bagley. 3 years down the road, something will come out that tells us. But
I'll try to find out. I'll do my best,
man. It's just such a bummer. It's such a bummer because it's one of those dudes who obviously has talent. You would love to see him play on this team because, why not? Why not just see what he has, right? And we just can't get it done. So, which is to be expected, but a bummer.
Yeah. Well, the Grizzlies are 18-3 when Huff scores in double figures. And Drew, feels like it's an offensive thing that you went with a leprechaun voice for Zach Kleiman. Maybe because Drew might be a leprechaun.
I don't know. It's just St. Patrick's Day. You should be happy about leprechaun stuff. I don't know why you're mad. I was happy about leprechaun stuff.
All right. Last thing before we get to Grizz Trivia and then our little State of the Union real quick. But the injury to BC, obviously bad injury, the worst. He's out for the regular season. Any chance he can come back for the playoffs?
I look like a doctor to you? I don't know. Didn't they say they were shutting him down for the season? They didn't say regular season. They said season, didn't they?
I thought it said regular season.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
What is that? God, y'all wrote so much during the game. All right. So Clark has been diagnosed with a high grade PCL sprain in his right knee, which sustained during the fall. Whatever. Clark is expected to miss the remainder of the 24-25 season, and further updates will be provided after a treatment plan and timeline are set.
Coming back. By the way, even if they could bring him back, they ain't bringing him back. That's the kind of injury, especially given his injury history, that they say, okay, he comes back if you're making a West Finals or you're making a finals run, right? Not happening. Because guess what else is not happening? This team making a West Finals or a finals run.
Wow. All right. Negative Nancy. Scott's got a good question. Anybody knows this? Same injury as what Steven Adams had. I do not know.
Probably. Sounds about right.
Did it say any grade of the sprain? God, we got doctor. We're going to investigate this, by God. Me, Rage Tempo, Scott Brown, Sweet Swifty.
Where's Rusty?
King Meeks. High grade. It didn't say what grade. It just said high grade. There's only 4 grades, right? So it's 3 or 4.
It's not a tear, which is nice.
It's not a 2. It's not a 1 because they're not high. It's a 3 or 4. Has to be. Whatever. Scott.
I don't know. I'm trying to look at it. I got nothing for you.
I hope that's a good enough answer for you.
He ain't coming back.
All I got.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. All right. Thanks for ruining my night. I had hope that he would.
Well, that was a stupid hope to have. I don't know what to tell you.
Thanks a lot.
It's a dumb hope.
Bad hope. All right. Enough about the game. The Grizzlies do win 140-103. After a very tumultuous first half. It was ugly. Ugh. They did end up going into the second half down by 1, end up running off and had a great second half. So end of the day, great game out of them. They did what they had to do. And so at that point, you're talking about a team that just kind of had to get on the gas, and they did and took off in the second half. And so shout out to them. But as you all know, we try to do a little trivia around here. This is King Meeks Trivia, sponsored by Dodge's Chicken and Dixie Queen. All right, little Grizz Trivia. Nate, this is March Madness style. I got a really good one for you.
Uh-uh.
This is for the Grizzlies because this is Grizz Trivia. This isn't your NBA trivia. This is Grizz Trivia. What 3 players have the most NCAA tournament wins?
Jay Huff.
Burner, burner.
Jay Huff.
Jay Huff is one of the 3.
Brandon Clark.
Brandon Clark.
Really?
So
That's
Brandon
surprising.
Clark.
I figured the Zags would have gotten some.
All right. So funny thing about Brandon Clark, he played 2 years at San Jose State, and where they did not go, he only played 1 year for Gonzaga, and he had 3 wins. Only
I guess
1
that
year.
makes sense. Edey, duh.
Zach Edey leads with 7. But did you know that the 2 people that you mentioned, both, I want to say they did, both had first round exits as like top seeds. Purdue,
actually, I did.
Purdue and Virginia both had first round exits as top seeds. I know one time they were both, whatever, but yes, very high seeds in the other years that they played, but they did both go on to win a championship.
They also played a bunch of years, which is what I'm thinking of.
Both played 4 years. Yeah.
How many years did Luke play?
Luke played 2 years.
2 years. It wouldn't be Jaren. Wouldn't be Ja.
Ja had none. Or 1. Sorry, Ja had 1. You know who I was surprised about?
Who?
Scottie Pippen Jr.
Why?
Yeah, I thought Vanderbilt would get 1.
Yeah, I would have landed exactly on 1. All right. I feel like this is the sneaky one. I feel like Jay Huff was a little bit sneaky. I feel like there's a big sneaky one on here, but it makes a lot of sense and it's recent, which is the only reason I'm going to get it if it's true. Is it Cam Spencer?
It is Cam Spencer. He's got 6, and so the question is, what 3 players have the most NCAA tournament wins? And Zach Edey was 7, Cam Spencer was 6, and Jay Huff was 6.
Nice.
Any questions on the other guys? Like, I was looking at, I was shocked with the Brandon Clark, but he did go 2 years at San Jose State.
Yeah, I thought he'd have more than 3.
Bain had 4 years at TCU, had 0. Marvin Bagley had 1 year, and they went to the Elite 8. I believe he had 3. Santi had none. How many do you think Yuki had?
1?
0. Yuki, he played overseas, bro.
Huh. Oh no, I'm thinking of the dude for Nebraska. I'm sorry. Does that make me racist? Sorry. I was looking at something else and he asked that. I was like, oh yeah, that dude that played for Nebraska. Yeah, they didn't win a game either. So they are still 0. They're still 0.
I do have another question. And this is for the chat. I wonder if the chat can get this one. What player played for the most teams in his NCAA career? What player
I know this one.
played for the most teams in his NCAA career?
I think
because there's a lot of guys, obviously, and one guy I was shocked with. I didn't know that he played somewhere before he went to another bigger team. This looks like a lot of people are getting. Well, what's your read on this?
Oh, I think I got it wrong looking at the chat. I thought it was Jalen Wells.
So Jalen Wells played 2 years at Sonoma State and then 1 year at Washington State. That is wrong.
Oh, I thought he had one in between Sonoma and Washington State. Dang. Okay.
Nope. So the chat is right.
What everybody else is saying. I'm assuming they're right.
Chat is right. Cam Spencer, he played Loyola he played 19, 20, 20 to 21, 21, 22. Because he got the extra year for COVID, he went to the Rutgers for 1 year, from Rutgers to UConn for that championship season. So he actually played 5 seasons And because he got that COVID year, he played with Santi,
Mm,
19, what is it? 19, 20, 21. So 2 years with Santi. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I thought that Wells played for 3.
Yeah.
My mistake. I'm
Zion, the guy I
sorry.
was shocked about is Zion Pullen. He played 2 years at he played 3 years at UC Riverside, then went 1 year Florida.
Oh, well, I don't know that either.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Zion Pulling, to be fair.
No, he is he's good. I think he's done for the season though, just overall down in the G League. He's been awesome. But anyway, I thought that was fun. I thought we would share that. It's always good to kind of dig in a little bit to a little bit of the trivia, but also a little bit of what's
Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
the best. I love it.
King Meeks trivia.
It's
All
my
right.
favorite.
All right. So I teased a little bit give a little bit about the State of the Union. So I figured we share that tonight. Me and Nate been talking about a little bit about what's going on with the Grizzlies, but also what's going on with Grizz 901. So a little story time with Daniel.
Oh gosh.
One, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is the OGs, the family that we all call family here. That the people that have been true OGs and are here, whether it's a win, whether it's a loss, being here allows us to do what we do. It allows us to have fun. It allows us to honestly do the show. And it is probably a bright spot. I know for both of us, I'd assume, but I know for me, it is a bright spot to be able to get to do this show and have a good time for sure. But the background disappear. Nope, you're good. I'm not sure what you're asking, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So it's been it's been a fun time, and so we wanted to just share our thankfulness, but also a little bit of how it all got started. Grizz 901 became literally just from a stupid NBA podcast that me and Ryan and my buddy, was doing. I forgot Cody. We're doing together, turned into a Grizzlies kind of NBA stuff. I kind of went off to the side at that point, kind of hooked up with Nate there, and we got together and we're able to just kind of do some podcast together. Found that we had a opportunity for a kind of a niche, a void that we didn't have. There was no content from the time the game ended all the way until the next morning. And at that point, there was no Jessica Benson. There was no Megan Triplett. At that point, it was just Vernon and I don't think what's his face was around GP. And so it was the local radio. So we found the void and kind of put that in there. So very happy with our decision in doing that because it's been a good, honestly, it's going to have been a good brand to kind of bring to everybody. And it's been a fun time. And so just wanted to share our thankfulness, but also share that we, as of right now, do not expect Grizz 901 to move forward after this season. And so I know it's been a fun ride so far, and I don't necessarily want it to end, but there's no ill will or anything towards Bluff City Media. They want us to come back, so it's not that. It's just the fact that we do have our families that we have to take our time away, and honestly have to do this and put time aside to do this. And so after this season, we don't know, and we don't at this time, we don't expect it to continue, and we just wanted to share that. And so there's nothing negative. It was just we thought it might be the right time to share y'all a little bit ahead of time. That way we can enjoy the rest of the season together. And if so be it, something changes to where we feel comfortable doing the show next year, then we will. But I just telling you now, as of this moment, we don't exactly think that will happen. What you got, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, along the same lines of what Daniel's saying, it's we love this show, and I think we're both really proud of. The show itself is probably still really stupid. we're pretty stupid, but that's what makes it a lot of fun. But we're very proud of the community that's been built here, and the fact that it does feel like a family. Like we can expect Keith and King Meeks and Art and Austin and Alan and Wayno and everybody to come and hop in here. And I'm sure plenty of people that are kind of faceless that we don't necessarily even know are in here all the time, right? We love doing it, and clearly, like Daniel's saying, like we would love for there to be a way to keep doing the show, right? It's something we love, but at this point, it's hard to tell my wife that she has to stay up and listen to me talk about a team that a lot of times I'm not super happy to talk about until the wee hours of the night. For something that's essentially a hobby, right, at this point. So love the show. We will, we want to figure out a way to sort of make it work, but as of this point, it's kind of too hard on the families, too hard on them for something that is not really bringing them much at this point. So, and we love you, everybody in the audience. There's so many people, again, we interact with day in, day out. So it hurts, but at this point, that is going to be the plan.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to have a blast the rest of the season, and I will never shut the door. And listen, Nate and I have talked, like, what do we do? Do we try to do a regular podcast and put it out once a week or do something? Personally, I don't want to do that. Maybe something ends up being like that, but I think there's enough of that. And I think what we're good at is the live entertainment, the live back and forth interaction. And so I won't ever close the door ever. And just so everybody's aware, like I said this before, and I want to reiterate it. Like, there's no negativity from Kenny and BCM. Like, he knows about all of this, and he's fully aware of my decision and kind of the plan that we would be kind of stepping away. But if something happens and we can kind of take this to a different level, then maybe we do return and maybe turn into less of a hobby a little bit. And so it's not about anything like that. It's not about any negativity or anything bad. And who knows, but either way, the door isn't closed, but we just want to share that as of right now, we have let everybody know that we're not going to be returning next year. So I don't know what is going to happen. Just kind of moving forward. But it will be a fun rest of the season. Like, that's the biggest thing. And the fact that y'all are just like cracking me up, man. Like I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now. I hate sharing that information, but like literally, like I'm sweating at the moment. That's why I've been drinking so much water. And so I don't know. So listen, if there's ideas that you want to throw our way, if there's sponsors, you can throw them our way too. But if there's ideas, I've thought of some different things that we could try. I don't know what that looks like with our schedule. But either way, we'll figure something out. And if we can make it work, great. But just wanted to share that right now that there is, at this moment, there's nothing that we have planned to do it just in general. So we'll see.
Yeah, and we make sure to dump the news at the same time the Grizzlies dump the injury news. So everybody go check the Undertaker tweets because the timing is probably similar. They're probably copying us on that. But couldn't say it better myself. Door's always open. All love to Kenny, to BCM. Like I said, there's no ill will either way on that. Just one of those things, got to put the family first, and that is that for now.
I hate ending the show that way because I just feel like it's just so dead, but I don't know.
Grizz win.
I don't know what I was going to talk about besides the actual shaking of the snow globe. But yes, I would love to do. I would love to do a meet hangout. I hate saying meet and greet. I don't know what you call it, but just kind of like a hangout and see everybody from the other side. I think it'd be a great time for sure. So sure. Either way, can't thank you all enough for the support because it has meant a lot. And I promise you, I love doing this show. Now, in general, early in the season, I was definitely going off the deep end. Grizz only fans. That would be awesome. I was going off the deep end. I just literally was just so frustrated with everything. I needed to be more positive and enjoy the season because sometimes being on this side, you have to dig in and you're so invested. I know a lot of fans are as well. you get like, so you're so deep into it, you can't really enjoy it. And so I had to pull myself out of that. And so, yes, it was tough. And I see Smooth Southpaw right there. What he said.
I'm bringing it up. Yeah.
That,
To be clear, we probably wouldn't have announced it if
No.
they lost tonight.
No.
Like that's. I mean, that would have been like, it wouldn't have been an announcement. It's just been me even walk off the show and you never see me again. There'd have been no announcement about it. It'd have been a Scottish goodbye, not even an Irish goodbye.
Yeah,
Just
no
gone,
doubt.
gone in
Anyway.
a wave of anger.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, I just want to say thank you, everybody. It's been fun. It's been a blast. We're still going to be here. We're still going to hang out. But after the playoffs are done, I know we're going to take a break. I know in the past we've done some other shows. In all honesty, I think that our best thing has been a full break from the time the season ends until, and having that last show, wrapping the season up then and being done has actually been beneficial. Last year was so much better, I felt like, for us.
Yep.
We didn't have to do the other shows throughout the year. Anyway, who knows what happens? If something happens and we figure out a new deal and we figure out whatever, then so be it. We'll come back. But as of right now, we have no plans to, and just wanted to be honest. And all of these words that I don't want to say right now because they don't fit into the what I'm talking about.
Let's just start randomly doing comments.
Yeah, just bringing them up, just like blow them out.
Big
but yes.
Girth. Oh man, yeah, we're still gonna have a ton of fun the rest of the season. And again, doors always open, but right now it's just my wife is like begging me to go to sleep, so we're gonna have to listen to that.
No Nate Thursday night. Nate will not be here. I have no clue I'm bringing on yet. I'm gonna reach out and see who we want to get on. I did reach out to somebody who promised me he would come on throughout the end of the year. So I don't know if either me or Nate will miss at some point. But if one of us do miss, we will bring on, if it's an away game, we'll bring on John Roser. So John was very kind. I contacted him again because I had to cancel on him late one time. But John Roser wants to come on the show. We talked about it a couple of times, and he goes, yes, but he has the hustle. So the hustle wrap up this weekend. And so I couldn't do anything at all with him because he's going to be doing that. So hope to have Roser on at some point, whether it's me and Nate on as well with him. I think it'll still be a lot of fun, but just having him on like we did in the past was a blast. And so we're going to bring him on at some point just to have some fun. But yeah, but we'll find somebody. I might have to reach out to Drew down there and see how he's doing. Bring him on Thursday for sure. But no Nate Thursday night. But the Grizzlies tonight do win 140-103. Another big dub. We'll take it. But the Grizzlies now have Thursday. The Thunder. You think we win?
Big dub. First dub.
You do not believe we win.
We're gonna watch the game. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have the
I don't even think you're going to watch the game.
We're gonna have the snow globe on hand. I'll probably have it on my phone depending on the score.
Yeah. Art's asking when was Roser on Roser was on last year. We had a lot more guests last year. We kind of tried to cycle them through. This year we wanted to go with just me and Nate, just because I felt more comfortable going back and forth with just us two. So whatever. Anyway. Until we got in that fight one time. Besides that, everything else has been good.
Yeah, it was okay. Every relationship needs them.
All right, boys and girls, thank y'all for hanging out. We've had fun. There is no look ahead tonight. Look ahead is the Thunder. Hopefully, we don't suck. But we'll have a fun time. I've asked Verno. I don't think Verno's coming on the show. Rage, too much going on, and he's got the post game stuff afterwards. So pretty impossible.
Doesn't have to be here till 11:30. It's good.
Pretty impossible to get him on. But I have asked. But either way, but that's all we got. Thank you all for hanging out with us again. We hated to share that, but we wanted to be honest. And we've talked about this, and we've known it for a little bit, and wanted to just kind of share that because being transparent is the only way we try to do things. But also just to kind of, let everybody know so we can kind of enjoy it together. That'll be a good time to really enjoy the season. So anyway, thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you all Thursday night. Be nice and tell your friends.